To a very interesting video. I am Sundar from Symphonia Wealth. The topic what we are going to see today is what is actually impacting many of the senior citizens today. The interest rate what used to be at about 9%, 10% and now it has fallen to about 5-6%, and the impact it is brought into many of the savings. We all know that inflation is the biggest enemy and we need to beat it over a period of time. Today I want to narrate a story which I heard from one of my neighbor who is a senior citizen. He got retired in 2012, and when he got retired, as many of them would like to plan for their regular income, he was looking for options, and finally he was not able to take a decision, and finally some of his friends advised him to put all his money in a fixed deposit so that he can actually happily keep getting a monthly interest with which he can take care of his monthly requirements. So he had a corpus of about 25 lakhs which he went and deposited it. That time the rates were as high as 9.25%. So this is just 10 years before, most of us would even remember it. So his requirement was about 15,000-16,000 rupees a month, and by depositing a 25 lakh rupees in the FD, he was actually able to get about 17,000 rupees and odd as regular monthly income. So he was very happy because one, his money is safe, and he is also able to get what is required for the monthly expenses. As time passed away, the next 1-2 years, fortunately the interest rate continued to stay at about 9.25%. So he was happy, thinking that the decision what he took was one of the best, and he was very happy with the friends who actually helped him take this decision. After a period of time, as we all know that the interest rate from 9.25% actually started declining, and it came to about 8.5%, then it was for about 7% and then 6%, and now currently post COVID the FD rates are actually about 5.1%. So I have shown you a chart explaining you about how the interest rates have actually fallen in the last 10 years and how my neighbor's monthly income also got reduced. So he used to get about 17,000 rupees a month, which has actually fallen to about 9,000 rupees a month. Now he is in a lot of panic and he is not knowing what to do because he is already retired. He is 68 years old now and not really knowing, and he is forced to depend on his children's. Sometime back he thought that this corpus would be good enough to actually survive and keep going. Fortunately their children have been kind and they are able to support them. So because of that he is able to still survive. But the primary objective of he going and taking a decision of depositing the money in a deposit is to get regular income and not really be dependent on his children. But the scenario is entirely changed, and the chart clearly shows. So here I have assumed certain numbers. One, I have just assumed that his tax slab is only about 10%, though the tax slab can be higher. But the interest rate mentioned are all the actual numbers over the last 10 years. On the other hand, his requirement for his monthly income, which used to be about 15,000-16,000 rupees when he started in 2012, has actually steadily increased because of inflation. And today as we speak, he needs almost about 29,000-30,000 rupees to run the same standard of living. Whereas what he is actually getting is about less than 10,000 rupees, which means he has a gap of almost about 20,000 rupees. So this is what we always keep speaking about, inflation and its effects. I have actually assumed inflation of about 5% over the last 10 years. Actually the rates have been slightly higher, but just to keep the numbers simple, I have just assumed that 5%. With a 5% inflation itself, his requirement of about 15,000-16,000 has actually become 30,000 rupees. So we can never underestimate the power of inflation in the long run. So whether you are retired, whether you are earning, it does not matter. Inflation always keeps working. So to counter this risk, I think we need to be very sensible, especially when you are retired and when you are getting your corpus. You need to sensibly invest so that you are actually not forced to a situation where you are dependent on your children. And another important aspect of inflation is the value of 25 lakhs 10 years before is equivalent to 15 lakhs today, which means one, your monthly income has depleted, on top of it your value of money also has depleted. So today many senior citizens are actually going through this kind of a situation until they've got other resources to manage. Otherwise, many of them are actually having a very terrific time because many of them actually underestimated the power of inflation. So the point I'm just trying to arrive is, inflation can actually make a devastating impact on your corpus, especially your retirement age or your post-retirement age is actually longer. So even if somebody retires at the age of 58, he can actually survive for the next 15, 20, 30 years or maybe 40 years also, which means his need is going to be constantly increasing, but the corpus actually stays at the same point. So even if you are retired, okay, for your retirement you should not plan when you are actually retiring, you should have actually planned much earlier. But assuming many of us, practically speaking, many of our individuals actually plan when they actually get retired. So make your plans sensibly so that you can actually outlive the corpus and not otherwise. So I'm not saying that you should not invest in FDs. FDs are definitely an important instrument to park your money, but ideally this is for your emergency fund kind of. You can't park all your retirement corpus into a FD. If you do that, I think the impact is going to be like this. And of course, what we have seen is the downward interest rate scenario. Of course, the rates can again go up, but will it go up to 9%? Even if it goes to 9%, can you survive this period where your monthly incomes have dropped? So you need to be very sensible because, as I told you earlier, your objective should be always to beat inflation. So take help of experts who can actually advise you in terms of how to beat inflation and make sure that your corpus is staying longer than you are. One very interesting concept which is becoming very popular among many of the investors, including the retired people, is the systematic withdrawal plan through mutual funds, which actually can give you a very steady flow of income, plus also the investments can actually grow over a period of time beating inflation. So that is one very interesting idea. I think people who are watching this video who are already concerned about losing interest rates and your monthly income dropping, I think you should definitely consult with the experts so that they can help you reach your goals and be financially free, especially after your retirement. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe to our YouTube channel, Symphonia Chennai. Thank you for watching.